Heading down here to the lake. This morning we're on Kentucky Lake, and we're going to do a little catfishing, or whatever else might bite. But our main focus is to catch some channel cat. So we'll hop in the boat here and see what we can. Yeah, they probably did.
Let's roll.
All right. I'll push us off. Oh.
Beautiful day out here.
Yeah, that sun will be up here in a little while. Welcome back. Cumberland Outdoorsman here with you, and we're on beautiful Kentucky Lake, and I'm fishing with my friend Randy and his grandson Maverick and our buddy Baxter here. And the main goal was to catch some catfish, which we were able to catch a few, but they're not as good as they normally are, right, Randy?
No, nowhere near. It's too late in the season.
Too late in the season right now. There's still a few biting, but right now we're catching some panfish, bluegill mainly, and we're going to try some red worms and see how well that does. I've already caught a few. Looks like they're starting to turn on now though. So anyway, hang in there and come along. Sure we'll have some fun here.
Here we go. Look, it's right off the bat.
You got one?
No.
No?
Almost had one.
Almost had him? Okay.
Almost.
All right. Get one of these chubs out of here. Come on, buddy, take it under.
Yeah, somebody swimming with it. Take him. Oh. Yeah, he was on that creek, John.
Yeah, that's all right. Get back on here. I just didn't hook him.
Yeah, get out there too. Oh man, that didn't take but a second. Like I said, you can catch fish here as fast as can be.
That water's warm, man.
Yeah. You need to cast out.
Okay.
The farther you can get up in that little cove by that tree and that rock there. I got one. Get one?
All right. Well, we hooked one there.
Hooked you one.
Good job, Maverick.
Good. I'm hungry. Put him in the net. Oh, we gotta swing him over here. Yep. There we go. All right.
It's a good size plunge.
Yeah.
The dog done fell asleep because we ain't catching no fish.
Yeah, that's it. No excitement. Oh.
Yours is under.
There, pull him in. Yeah. He's hooked. Pull him in.
Go on.
Got a good one?
Yep.
Good catfish.
Oh, this is a huge one.
There you go. That's a blue cat.
Oh, man.
That's a blue cat.
There you go. Yep. Heavy.
Yeah.
There you go.
I like
Flip
that.
box
I like that technique you got there.
What?
Whoa. Get in there.
Hurt him in there.
Something getting on there. You just take it under. I think it's a small one.
bait snatchers.
Mm-hmm.
We find a bed of them, man. We could just wear them out.
See, they're picking on it.
Got one. You got something. He got it. Hey, oh, what
Oh, it's a
you got?
catfish.
Oh,
All right,
it's
got a good catfish.
Bring him up here.
And another bluegill too.
And your pole can't bring him in. There you go.
Good job, Maverick. That's a channel cat. Of all the catfish, I like channel cat the most.
Do you?
Oh yeah.
You're fishing for bluegill and catching catfish.
Well, Maverick's catching all our catfish, so
That's all right. Do your part.
good catch. Well, maybe one will jump on that one.
You want me to take us in closer to the shore?
No, no, no. No, it's fine. It's bluegill. See how they go down and let's go. It goes down, let's go. There we go.
Get one?
Yeah.
Good one?
Nah. It's a
They look small.
So dinky.
little fella. All right, I'm gonna tell you just like my old buddy told me. I'm gonna let you go,
Yeah.
but don't you go down there and tell them others what happened up here.
That's it. Don't be those relaying.
Yeah, we don't need none of that. I'm gonna try over here off this tree edge here. Well, there's one. There's got to be more.
Like a whole group.
School of them.
Same spot.
Did you see a picture of that big bluegill that got caught up there in Michigan?
Yeah. Like 4 pounds.
That was a monster.
Get him finally.
You got another one. Oh, big bluegill. All right.
Get him in the boat. Get him in the boat. Get him in the boat.
That's a good one there.
That's
There.
a eater. Tom will take him. There you
Bring
go.
him over here.
Ready?
I got him.
Tom will take him home.
Yeah.
All right, give me
We're gonna well, I don't know. What do you think?
That's a good one. Good enough to eat. Here,
Only,
give me yours.
Join the party, my friend.
Get you one. You got
I got
something
something.
good. It's running for deep water, whatever you got.
That's another big bluegill, I think. Sure looks like it. Yeah, that's a nice bluegill.
There you go. Throw 'em in the bar.
Colorful.
Have a spot. You found you a bed or something.
I don't know. Well, the main goal was catfish, but
I'm
we'll catch whatever. Yeah, whatever's hitting is. So you got some of them red worms?
Yeah.
Let me try those. Let's save these night crawlers for your catfish. All right, we got another one here.
got you another big one.
Feels like a bluegill.
Got you another nice one. Average fish.
It's a female bluegill. That's a female. She's got eggs in her. So we're gonna let her go.
Back.
Yeah. All right. We didn't hurt her a bit. I'm using a size 6 hook here.
Little tiny hook.
Yeah. I'll throw right back in over there.
Okay, I can do it. You're just feeding them.
I don't know how they get it.
Fishing right here off this cedar tree.
Yeah, they're up in that cedar tree.
Mhm.
Usually, you want me to get you a little closer?
No, it's fine. It's fine. I don't want to get too close.
Cause I usually right in the edge where the rock and the cedar tree come together up in there,
Yeah.
that's where I just slam. Trying to catch a drag.
Well, Maverick caught him a largemouth bass there.
Biggest one of the day.
Uh,
That was a big fella.
Here, I'll hold on.
right next to the boat here.
Yeah,
Definitely.
Kentucky Lake largemouth.
there you go. Hold him. Like,
Hold him up.
Yeah.
hold him in his mouth, just like that. There you go. Tom will take you.
You can let go of it.
Let go of him. Let
Just-
go with your hand.
Just hold him up like that.
Like that.
There you go. Hold on a minute. That will show you that worms will catch anything.
Yep. Don't.
Yeah, little
The deep water.
feller.
Yeah. He's small.
Yippee! Well, I win the prize for catching the smallest fish of the day.
Yep.
You need to tighten that drag on that reel of yours.
While you're
Did you?
pulling that in.
Oh, okay.
All right, Maverick, let me see you a piece of one.
I got it.
No, I need a piece.
Oh,
I
yeah.
ain't worried about you. You're catching bigger fish than I am.
Got something here. I don't know what it is. Oh, it's another bluegill.
It's a good one, if it is.
That's a little male.
Yeah.
A little male. See you later, buddy. When you grow up.
Come back and see me.
I'm gonna go try to hit those rocks. Well, not hit.
What, the rocks back there? Them big flat rocks? Okay, let me get out of the eye. I must be too deep. I think I'm on the bottom.
Either that or you're hung on something.
You got a bite. You got a fish.
Oh yeah. I don't know what I got here.
Oh, yep.
Both of you are hooked up.
Got a double here, huh?
Bring him over here.
There you go.
I got him. Oh, you got a catfish.
All right. Got a blue cat here. Or is that a channel? It's a channel cat.
Hey, you broke your streak.
Yeah,
Got
I guess
a
I did.
catfish.
I guess I did. All right, buddy.
And you even hooked right.
This is pretty decent.
Take the trip home. That's a good eater. Go back to the same spot you were at, man.
You can usually tell when they roll like that.
Yeah, catfish start rolling.
Yeah.
Bluegill don't roll.
Try to make consistent casts here. There, something just grabbed it.
Something. Catching something.
Bluegill.
Little one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he ain't no keeper. Okay, folks, caught these catfish this morning and I'm trying something different. Removed the tails, cut the tails off, and hung them up here to bleed them out, hopefully to get some blood out of the meat and make the fillets actually taste better. So we're going to go ahead and fillet them up and see how they turn out. We got some of these channel catfish and a few blue catfish that we kept. We threw the little ones away, but just the good eating size ones we kept. And I think it was about 7 or 8 that we kept. And what I've got here is a channel cat, and we're going to get the fillets off of it. First thing I do, I just take a regular fillet knife, put it right in here at the orifice of the anus. That's a female there. Clean her out. You want to remove all the entrails first. Okay? Get all that out of the way. I know it's a messy job, but you want to get some nice clean fillets off here, so get the messy part out of the way. And what I'll do is I'll take an electric fillet knife, because it makes it a little easier, and go in right here by the dorsal fin and kind of cut down at an angle to the backbone, but not through it, okay? Just like that. You got to be careful of the fins because they have spines in them and they will hurt you. What I'm going to do is just follow that backbone right on down. Fillet right off to the end there, and then I'll take this knife. You can use the electric fillet knife for this as well, but you want to trim off the fin and then go between the skin and the meat and just peel the skin. Just shave it right off the meat. This is about the smallest that I'll keep. Smallest catfish. But the bigger ones really don't taste as good as the smaller ones, is what I found. And then you want to go between the ribs. You can leave the ribs on and cook it that way, but I like to remove the ribs too. And you got a fillet there. It's a nice little frying fillet, nice and clean. And you take your fish, flip him over, and repeat the same process. Always remove that fin, because if you don't, that's a really hard spot to get past when you're trying to shave the skin off the meat, and you won't get as near as good of a clean job out of it. And try and get all the skin off of it. There. You can trim off some of this yellow meat if you want. But there you have a nice clean fillet. Well, now that we got these fish cleaned and filleted, and also I got the bluegill scaled and cleaned, it's time to cook them. And I'll show you one way that I like to prepare the fish that I've caught, and something that I'd like to add to it. Here are some fresh squash right out of my garden. These are summer squash that I grow nearly every year. But here are the fish also that I prepared. The bluegills are on top, and then I've got the fillets below, catfish fillets. And the way I'm just going to do it is I'm going to fry these fish, but first I'm going to prepare the squash, and I'll show you a little recipe that I have for it that's quite delicious. This is not really a traditional way of doing it, because most of the time what people here do in the South is they cut the squash up into round little discs and then they bread them and fry them. But we're going to do it a little bit different here. Let me show you what I got. Okay, I got my skillet getting ready here. I'm getting ready to cut up these squash, and I'm going to add an onion to it. And when I get it all ready, I'll be back with you there. Okay, the way I like to cut up my squash is I use a grater like this. This one has a slicer right here. And I'll just take my squash and I'll cut the end off over the trash can. But anyway, this really makes quick work of this job here. So you just take it and just slice your squash up just like that. You can cut it up with a knife, but this really makes a quick job of it. Anyway, once I get it all cut up, we're going to put it in the skillet. I'm going to add a sliced onion or a diced onion to this and let it cook down. Okay, before I put the squash in and the onions, I'll go ahead and use some real butter here. Put a few pieces in the bottom like that. And let that butter melt. Here I've got my diced onions on the board here. Put the onions on. I'll put those on first and kind of let them saute there. Let that get good and hot and kind of cook them down a little bit before I put my squash in. Okay, now that we got these onions browned pretty well and sauteed, I'm going to add a little bit more butter. And go ahead and add my squash. Now this looks like a lot, and it kind of is at first, but this cooks way down, okay? This will end up being maybe a third the size of what it is now when it's done. One point worth mentioning, if you're going to grow your own squash and use them in recipes like the one I'm showing now, pick these squash when they're still kind of young. Don't let them grow too big, because when they get big they get kind of tough and hard. When they're small like this, they're good and tender, and it really makes for a much better meal. There's quite a few right here. When they're about like that, now you can go ahead and take them off the plant. Plenty more blossoms there. There's one starting. I got some zucchini in here too. There's one ready. They're easier to cook when they're smaller like this too. You can buy squash at the store, but I think if you've ever grown a garden, you'll have to agree with me that homegrown just tastes so much better. You can't beat the flavor of your own homegrown vegetables. Okay, now that the squash is just about done, you see how much it cooked down. It's no longer a big heap like it was before. I like to put 1 tablespoon of salt, and you can use any kind of salt. You can use light salt or just regular salt. I like to use this pink Himalayan salt because it has a lot of minerals in it. Put that in there, and 1 tablespoon of sugar. And mix that in real good. And just let that simmer for a while. I remember my dad never liked squash all that much, and I made this one time when I came over. I brought some squash that I had grown that summer, and made a batch of this, and he just couldn't get enough of it. And from then on, he was always wanting me to bring him some of this sauteed squash in butter. It's really what it is. It's just buttered squash, you know. Next, we're going to do the fish. That's just about ready now. Okay, now that we got the squash done, we got it set aside, it's time to do the fish. And I've already got my oil warming up here. What I did is I put some cornmeal in a bag and put my fillets in there, and I added some of this Country Bob seasoning salt. I'll go ahead and put our fillets in here. Let them get started. That's about the right eating size catfish. You don't want them too big because they're just too tough and fishy tasting. So I like them about this size. Makes them a lot easier to cook up too. Let them get done good and brown, and we'll flip them over. Alright, this first batch is just about done. Go ahead and take them out, and then I'll put my bluegill in next. Cook them the same way. Make room for one more fillet here. And let that get done. And then you can add whatever you want. You can use baked beans or fried potatoes. What I always like to use is okra, fried okra out of my garden, but they're not ready yet. That'll be later on this summer. Okay, now it's time for the ultimate taste test. I got my fishing buddy and my grandson, Alex, here. And if he says it's good, then it's got to be good. So anyway, we got a piece of this meat here, just to show you. It's flaky and white, and cooked really tender. And add a little bit of salt here. There you are, sir. Let's give that a try. How's that? Well, I guess it's pretty good. That's really good. Now he's going to try a piece of that squash as soon as he gets that swallowed down. So, we'll try a little bit of this squash. How's that taste? Pretty good flavor?
Excellent.
Excellent. Nice and buttery? Good. Well, folks, I hope you enjoyed the video. I wanted to kind of do a little catch and cook of catfish and bluegill because they are a relatively common fish just about anywhere. And I know a lot of people enjoy catching those. So until next time, remember, if you can get outdoors, you can go hunting, fishing, hiking, camping, whatever it is you like. I hope you enjoy it as much as we do. And also remember, hit the like button, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. That way you'll know when more videos like this will be coming your way. So until next time, y'all take care, and we're going to go sit down and have our feast right now. So we'll see you.